once in a while, there are these hypotheticals. Like you see an AMG wagon coming down the road and you think to yourself, I want an AMG wagon. You come up with all the excuses or hypotheticals as to why an AMG wagon just makes sense. The space, the power, the unreliability. Or maybe you're at the track, you're watching at Road America and you're like, well, you know what? I want a track car. And you come up with all the hypotheticals and you talk about how you're gonna build a track car. And in all honesty, we all say that and neither of those things ever happen. Well, I'm Alex at FI on Instagram, and today's episode of Opposite Lanes, we're gonna be comparing two of those things where two people actually decided to go do the thing that we almost always talk about. We're gonna comparing a 2020 BMW M2 Comp Edition to an off-road BMW 328 all-wheel drive lifted diesel. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can do that. So this is Parker Fuller's 2014 BMW 328D XDRIVE that he has now turned into, well, we're not entirely sure. Here's the thing that we have to remember. This is a diesel. So first off, it gets 40 miles to the gallon, which is an automatic win in my book. Second off, it's lifted in the air with centerline wheels. Some, I think they're Toyos. We got some spacers, new struts. It's lifted in the air. It's got lights that look like cannons from a PS2 video game. It's got a radar detector. And of course, just like a good old classic, she's got the check engine light on. What else would you want in a car? So this is 1.6 inches of lift. And Fuller on top of this has like one of one centerline wheels for this car. Because the wheels that he wanted were practically truck wheels. And there really isn't a whole lot of options for a BMW in the sizes that he wanted to do, well, this. On top of it, it's got a tune delete, and it sounds like a Power Stroke. It actually goes pretty quick. One of the things that Parker says about this car, and the reason that he likes it so much, is because Parker used to switch out cars like every 6-8 months because he just got bored. He has had this car now for like 4 years. Now, probably a little bit to do with some depreciation as well, but he hasn't had to switch anything out. He just keeps doing things to this to match his lifestyle. He loves going off-roading. A lot of his friends have overlanders. A lot of them have little trophy trucks. A lot of them they're more outdoorsy people. But sometimes having an outdoorsy vehicle means you lose some of the creature comforts. You don't really lose much when you just lift your BMW diesel, because you still get all the gas mileage you could possibly want in the world, and you're still having fun. You may notice that there's a lot of things moving in this car, and that would be because, well, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna teach you guys something about Parker Fuller. Parker Fuller just lives, like practically almost lives in this car. Like if the world were to end, he could jump in this thing and just go. There's camera equipment in the back that I don't even want to talk about, is probably worth money. He's got stuff all over. There's an off. I mean, yeah, bud, just send her. I think we got vitamins over here. One of the things about having a car like this that is less about maybe it just being off-road and more about it being just unconventional, it's an unconventional build, is the fact that it's just different. It's a lot of fun to be different. And when you're able to get on it and you're able to take it off-road and you're able to just be mean to it a little bit, there's a lot of fun in that. There's a ton of fun in that. Pair that with the fact that he managed to power or put in a switch that allows it to go from the all-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive, which makes the car not very happy. And you pretty much have something that you can just play around with until it inevitably breaks. But since it's a diesel, it's way more reliable than a lot of the other cars that you could probably do this to. Now, a lot of people would probably say, well, why don't you just do this to a Subaru? And the question, or the answer to that would probably be like, why wouldn't you do it to a BMW? Of course, with that being said, there's a few cons to having a vehicle like this. One of which you really truly don't get to enjoy unless you're using it for the full intended purpose. The full intended purpose here is that it can go off-road. The full intended purpose is that you can take it on a dirt track and go have some fun. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pass this car on over to Fuller so that he can take it off-road and beat the living piss out of it. Mostly because then if it breaks, I don't have to worry about it. And at the same time, to me it feels a little bit weird. There's already a check engine light on. There's already a sensor light on for the sensors, TPMS, you know? So here's how I'm gonna test its off-road capabilities. I'm off-road right now. I'm back on road. Just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? The tune adds almost 90 horsepower to this car, which in my eyes gives it everything that it needs to have fun. And the lift doesn't feel bad. It's got, you know, it does have some essential blocks to just raise the car up, generally speaking. And then it also has new shocks, which is nice. So it's actually a little bit quieter. I was expecting it to be a little bit noisier. And the tires obviously add some lift too. So would you want to do this to a BMW? I guess I'm not sure. I probably wouldn't, but why, if you had this and you could, then just do it, right? I mean, it's your car. Have fun with it. Is it better than an M2 competition? I think that that's not a fair argument. What I would rather say is, as the car is built for an intended purpose, what is easier for you to enjoy that intended purpose? And I will say that Parker has done a fantastic job with making this car usable for something that's not supposed to be a BMW feature, especially on this car, without making it unusable in other aspects. Everything still works. Everything is still completely functional. I'm not losing my mind. I'm not breaking my back driving this car. It's comfy. It's cool. I'm just lifted a little bit more. And in all honesty, I don't really think anybody notices the fact that this is a lifted BMW, except for those automotive enthusiasts that know that a BMW diesel is not supposed to be this tall in the air. Can you stop? Can you stop? Where's the cop? Where is it? Where is it? You don't even know. You're saying it's to the side of me. You don't even see, it's gone. It's gone. One more pull. I mean, it's like quick, but it's not like fast. It's just nice, you know? It's good to get ahead of somebody. If you're wondering about cost, reliability, well, we're driving BMWs, so reliability is a little bit of a test case there. But in terms of usability, all of that sort of good stuff, it's fantastic. You got 4 doors, you can fit people in the back, you got a whole trunk. It's a diesel, it can go anywhere. The tires are gonna be expensive when you do end up replacing them, especially if you're running truck tires. Truck tires are inherently more expensive than car tires. There's a little bit of rubbing. We're just not gonna talk about it. We're gonna pretend it doesn't even exist. So let's see if Fuller can put it to the test in its true environment to see if it's actually worth spending the money on lifting a BMW, or should you maybe just go buy, I don't know, a Tacoma and beat the crap out of that. Now that we have our coffee, let's get into the exquisite VIP Trackmobile, also known as Lars's 2020 BMW M2 And just because I know everybody really does care, competition. If you guys don't know, the competition is a very big deal for this car. And if you haven't heard the news, everyone loves the M2. There's not a single person I've ever met that doesn't love the M2. Everyone. Not a single person that doesn't. I've never seen a single person say, no, I don't like the M2. Everybody loves the M2 because it pretty much is what the M3 should have been. This is Lars's M2. It's got HREs, Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, and of course, a big old nasty exhaust, which makes it burble and sound angry pretty much all the time. Now the M2 comp has a bunch of fancy little doohickeys. Most of them are down here. Allows me to say I don't want it in comfort, I want it in Sport Plus. I don't want the steering in comfort, I want that in Sport Plus. Pretty much everything else on the car, completely stock. Now, to those unfamiliar, the M2 has the same motor as the newer generation M's, which is why people love it, because it's a smaller chassis. With the same power plant. And it sounds darn good. It's got efficient dynamics. It's got emergency SOS. It has leather steering wheels. It's comfortable. It's fast. It has rev matching. And Lars takes this to Road America quite often. Quite often indeed. Difference between the two cars? Well, the BMW M2 competition is probably right around $60,000. You can probably snag a BMW diesel, I don't know, probably about 15 to 20 right now. So the price difference is substantial. You're paying for the performance. You're paying for quite a bit of it too. And just like good old BMW M series, they don't necessarily hold their value too well unless you get a very mint spec M car. M2s, they say, will hold their value, but I'm not sure if they will or not. Obviously, a little bit tougher on the roads. And this is all about daily driving. Remember, it's all about not just how does it do on the track, but how does it do just as a normal car? For everybody else, we're gonna be driving these cars 95% of the times on roads that look like Mars. Open that door and show them that, show them what we have around here. Show them, look at that pain. That's an everyday occurrence. I'm gonna tell you right now, our taxes ain't cheap, and we still got holes like that all over the place. Come on, close that door. We're going this way. But we're not just comparing the value. It's, are you allowed to use a car bred for track more than you'd be allowed to use an off-road car for off-road performance? To be truthful, you're probably gonna use a car that's meant for light track use more than an off-road car, unless your lifestyle tells you different. The rev matching in these cars is so much fun. So much fun. You don't have to pretend to do the whole footsie game. You don't have to play tic-tac-toe with your heels. You just go like this. And it just, wow. Oh, and the exhaust sounds lovely. Some of the negatives of buying a car bred for the track versus a car that you would just build for a couple $1,000s. Number one is price. It's expensive. And for all the boys and girls out there that are on a budget, just buying a car bred for the track and dealing with depreciation and all that stuff, let me just tell you, it's not worth it. There's a lot of cars you can own that aren't M2 competitions that are going to give you the same feeling. There's a lot of budget track cars out there that you can get. You can get an E36 M3 for pennies now, rather than spending a ton of money on a track car that's brand new. Lars is balled out on this car, and he loves every second that he drives it. And if you're looking for a $60,000 sports car, the M2 is probably one that should be in your alley. But if your budget is more attuned to the $10,000 range or $20,000 range, you're probably looking at getting something a little bit older. The diesel has a few pros over a car like this. First off, space. Look behind me. People ain't gonna fit back there. You can say people can fit back there, you can put people back there, but can they really actually be back there? No. That's usually for an M3 or an M4 if you want to put people in the back seat. Secondly, you have to deal with space. And thirdly, you have to deal with the fact that you're constantly going to want to drive the living piss out of this car. It begs you to just beat on it, which always scares me when cars want that, because they do break. They eventually will die, and then you're stuck with it. But gosh darn, is it not a fantastic car? You can daily drive a car like this. You can put it all in comfort mode and kind of go on your merry way and never really think twice about it. But you can have the same amount of fun-ish with an off-road car. You can still kind of probably take it to the track-ish, kind of. You just throw a different set of wheels and tires on it, send her down Road America, and just see what she does. On an M2 comp, you're not going to be taking it off-road anytime soon. So in terms of which one can do both better, I'm sorry, but I think the diesel takes the cake. I'm sorry, Lars. You know me. And I love these cars. But it's all about which one can do both better. Right, Max?
Right.
Which one do you like more? Interior is better in here, right?
Yeah. It's more comfortable in here, but...
It doesn't smell like off?
Yeah. But the diesel, I think you're right, because you can go off-roading anywhere.
You can go off-roading anywhere. Anything is an off-road playground if you're brave enough.
Right.
You can't take this off-road. No. It won't even let me go towards the dirt. Look, I'm gonna go towards the dirt, and it's just like, no, 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 no. See? It's like when you reach the end of a map in a video game. They just won't let you go forward. I think on the next episode of Opposite Lanes, we need to compare the M2 on the track to something else on the track. Let us know if you guys want us to start taking these cars on the track, because we can, I think, if they let us. And we can do some comparisons on performance. That'd be pretty fun. It'd be like the US version of Top Gear, but hopefully not as All right, cool. The BMW M2 is a car that can go on the track and do just about anything, and people will claim that everybody says they want to go off-road, but they really don't. On the other hand, you have a car that can go off-road and actively goes off-road and then claims, well, I could probably do the same thing as an M2 on the track, I just gotta switch out the wheels and tires. What it really comes down to is, which one can you do both in the best? In all honesty, the M2 can't go off-road even if it tried, because, well, I don't wanna mess with that paint, whereas the 328 diesel, I just don't think she cares. She rips. It's a fun car. And the BMW M2 Comp has taken many W's in many books across the entire world. But I think when it comes down to comparing it to an off-road car, I just don't think this one has what it takes. Let us know what you want us to see us talk about in the next episode of Opposite Lanes, and of course, drop the comments below. We want to start hearing what you guys would like to see us compare next. I'm just going to disclaimer this, the M2 Competition is probably one of the most fun and exciting track cars I've ever driven before in my life, next to the GT3 RS. But we didn't go to a track, so don't be mad. That's a lot of fun too. Just smells like off and Axe body spray. It just gets a little weird back there. I just don't know if you'd really want to. If you had to pick one, you'd pick the M2, but it has depreciation, so you have to take that into account. Nobody likes wasting money. When you really come down to it, it's about value. What's the best value that you can get for both applications?